Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
Today's news is overwhelmed with questions on multiculturalism, diversity and peace. In this edition, we take a look at how education can play a very important role in building intercultural tolerance and respect. Australia is one of the most ethnically diverse countries in the world, but its indigenous communities have faced a long history of discrimination. We go there now to see what lessons can be learned about diversity by immersing yourself in another culture for a day.
The late 90s saw a rapidly changing Australia, and with new immigrants came new cultures such as Chinese, Indian and Vietnamese. Alongside this, the world's oldest living culture, Indigenous Australia, needed an outlet to revive the importance of their history and stories. In schools around Australia, through cultural infusions discovering diversity programs, Old Australia blends with New Australia and teaches students to live in a more harmonious and inclusive community.
Within Discovering Diversity, there are, I think, about 100 programs that we have. They include the Aboriginal for a Day programs, we have various African programs, we have various programs from Asia. There's programs exploring almost every different continent of the world.
Aboriginal elder Alan Harris and his sons Tristan and Azza have been running cultural infusion programs for 12 years. Not only has this changed their family's life, but the lives of many young Australians who now acknowledge and respect the role of Aboriginal Australia in the country they live in.
Aboriginal. It's not Aboriginal. The Aboriginal for a Day program is our most popular program because it submerges the students and the teachers for a full day of concentration on different aspects of Aboriginal culture. Our main important message is to the schools and the students to understand that if they're living in Australia, then everything about Australia is their history. They need to know it. It's important. Hey, you, what's your favourite food?
For other program leaders such as Shaba, an African drummer from Ghana, connecting with the students and seeing the joy they experience is his greatest reward.
And shake your body. Let's go.
It's a good message. That is a good message and good spirit that, you know, you see the children love what they are doing.
Good one. Come and give me 5 minutes. I love the dancing, man. Ow!
Having storytellers, having performers, having dancers, exploring different traditions and different cultures through an experiential process was a lot more powerful than reading it through a book or even seeing it through a movie.
Students thrive within the context of entertainment as education, and in Collingwood College, where 80% of the students are from backgrounds other than English, teachers recognise the importance of reinforcing knowledge of different cultures for their students.
We're currently with the older children doing the ICAP program, which is looking at cultural identity and leadership within cultural identity. We've just started that, but it's been really good working, looking at teamwork within culture and really having respect for different cultures.
When you begin to learn traditions from another culture, you begin to be able to place yourself in this wider context, in this global context, and in due course you begin to be more appreciative of other cultures.
Cultural infusion changes the way Australian students learn about their country and the cultures and history that have made them how they are today.
Aboriginals for a Day.
Without them, we can't do what we do, and we can't fulfil the dream that we want, and that dream is that all Australia know that we are one people and we are a strength of people. Yeah.
In Belgium, the threat of terrorism has raised concerns over intercultural conflict and understanding. But in one of the country's multicultural neighborhoods, a nursery has gained recognition for its positive example of supporting diversity in the community.
The Tir Lantone Nursery is based in a multicultural neighbourhood of Ghent. Every day it opens its doors to 42 children and babies aged from 8 weeks to 3 years. This year, Till and Tone came first out of 14 European projects to win the Evans Prize for Peace Education thanks to its very positive attitude to diversity.
When it comes to Eid al-Adha or Ramadan, we explain to the children who don't know about them what they are in very simple language so that they can understand. There are picture boards on display with photos of all the parents. This is also an expression of diversity, to show the children who is who their parents are, and who the other children's parents are.
What makes this nursery different to others is that parents are welcome to drop in at any time during the day. They are actively involved in the activities and decision-making processes. When the mums and dads come to pick up their children, a lot of them tend to stay for a while and take part in the group's play, workshop or info sessions. Situated amongst social housing, the nursery is highly visible and accessible. Today, parents and staff members have prepared a soup and are sharing it with the neighbours.
What I like here is that there is this kind of philosophy that we go out, and we go out in the nature, but they also go out in the neighborhood. So there is you can see it here, for instance, today the soup that they make is also for the neighbours and with the neighbours.
Katrin Reinert, the director of the nursery, explains that it's very important for the children to recognise the differences not only between themselves, but also between their families. For example, those with 2 fathers or 2 mothers. Children who face and accept these facts at an early age will nearly all become very tolerant people in the future.
In this context, it is still possible to live together with different cultures and work together constructively. That means a high tolerance. I also see this in our nursery. Everyone feels welcome. Everybody is happy. Everyone interacts with others constructively. If we can build this in a small entity, then yes, we must also try to implement it in a broader environment. It's very important.
We're going to the Flemish Peace Institute in Brussels to meet Thomas Bohm, the chairman of the jury that awarded the Evans Prize for Peace Education to the Till and Tone Nursery.
It's not that they will teach young toddlers how to deal with each other, but there's a very idea of creating an atmosphere where the child feels that it belongs and it can identify with. But I think that the real strength was this, let's say, unique and rich project in a challenging neighborhood and taking the problem of the neighborhood as an opportunity to work with really a high degree of parent participation as well.
The core approach of Till and Tone is to create an environment that doesn't avoid conflict, but deals with it in a constructive and acceptable way with children who are facing differences from a very early age.
How important is intercultural education? Are there any interesting projects near where you live? Tell us about it on our social media pages. Goodbye for now.
Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.